Okay, so if I say I need to hand it, I've got to hand it to you. I got to hand it to you. I have to hand it to him. It means I'm acknowledging that they have some kind of a talent or they've accomplished something great. So there was this guy that I used to work with about maybe 5 years, no, 10 years ago. And we didn't actually get along, right? But I have to hand it to him. He knew how to write Japanese kanji really well. And he had a good memory for a lot of things. Like he actually has a great memory for, like, let's say a lot of facts, like different birds and just different things that he knows, different kinds of mold. I don't know. He just knew a lot of things, and he's got a high level of education, and uh, he's now in IT. And I got to hand it to him. He's really smart in the sense that he's can memorize a lot of things, and he's a hard worker. So, if I were talking to him, I'd say, well, I got to hand it to you. You really know Japanese very well. Or I got to hand it to you, you're a hard worker. Or I might say something like, yeah, he's not my favorite person, but let's say if he was not in the room, I'd say, well, he's not really my favorite person, but, I got to hand it to him. He's a hard worker. Okay, so I'm sort of like congratulating him or acknowledging his ability. Okay, so let's take a look here. All right, so I'm going through this episode of Speed Racer. If you guys want to learn English, this would be a good source, except for the fact that there's no subtitles. Um, and also, this was originally done in Japanese and it's dubbed over into English. So the words, the mouth doesn't match the words that they're saying. But uh, it's fairly simple English. All right.
Thanks. You had the race sewn up by the second lap, Speed. I've got to hand it to you. Hey, Speed, you were fantastic. Thanks. You had the race sewn up by the second lap, Speed. I've got to hand it to you. Second lap, Speed. I've got to hand it to you.
I've got to hand it to you means I've got to congratulate you, or I've got to acknowledge your ability. All right. So uh, to give credit to, pay respect to. Okay. Um, you've got to hand it to her. She built that cabin herself. I used to work for this guy who, um, I got to hand it to him. He actually built an additional part onto his house. Like he had a one-story house, and he just decided one day he was going to make his one-story house into a two-story house, and he did it all himself. Crazy, just ran saw, bam, 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 and I couldn't do it. I just would be afraid of doing a project that big, but he just started doing it. Got to hand it to him. He was greedy, and he didn't pay me very well, but I got to hand it to him. He was talented. All right. Okay. And I tried to find the origin, and this makes sense to me, to hand it to someone, acknowledge someone's ability or superiority. Slang from 1906, okay, whatever. It perhaps is meant to suggest a trophy cup or award. And that's what I think too. Hand it to you means like a kind of trophy cup or award, okay? So, okay, commonly spoken. Got to hand it to you. All right. So I will talk to you on the next idiom.